Did you know Africa might hold the key to challenging the West's global dominance? And Donald Trump knows it? For decades, Africa was painted as a continent of problems, poverty, corruption, and instability. But what if we told you that Africa, backed by the BRICS Alliance, is rapidly becoming one of the most powerful economic forces in the world? This isn't just another story about foreign investments. It's about Africa rewriting the rules of global power. And leaders like Trump are watching closely. Why? Because what BRICS and Africa are building isn't just changing economies, it's changing the balance of power itself. So let's break it down. Chapter 1. The BRICS Africa Power Play, BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, is no longer just a loose alliance of emerging economies. It's a geopolitical force challenging the dominance of Western financial systems and trade networks, and at the heart of this strategy lies Africa, a continent rich in minerals, agriculture, energy, and human capital. Let's put this into perspective. Africa is home to 60% of the world's uncultivated arable land, a critical resource in a world grappling with food insecurity and climate change. This land could potentially feed not just the continent, but the entire world. Countries like Ethiopia and Rwanda have already made strides in transforming their agricultural sectors, exporting coffee, flowers, and other commodities, with the right investments and sustainable practices. Africa's agricultural potential could solve global food crises and drive economic growth. Beneath Africa's soil lies a treasure trove of minerals essential for the future. The continent holds 30% of the planet's mineral reserves, including cobalt, lithium, gold, and diamonds. These minerals are the backbone of modern technology, from electric vehicles and renewable energy to smartphones and military equipment. The Democratic Republic of the Congo alone holds over 70% of the world's cobalt reserves, a critical mineral for electric car batteries and tech devices. Yet, the DRC's resources have been historically exploited by Western corporations, often with horrifying consequences, including child labor in unsafe mines. BRICS sees this injustice not just as a moral issue, but as an economic opportunity, a chance to create fairer trade relationships and bring manufacturing directly to African soil. And they're not wasting time. China's Belt and Road Initiative has already poured billions of dollars into African infrastructure projects. The Kenya-South Sudan Highway has turned what was once an isolated landlocked region into a key player in global trade. Goods that used to take days to transport now move in hours, transforming South Sudan's access to international markets. But this isn't just China's show. India is bringing solar power to remote villages, allowing homes, schools, and hospitals to access stable electricity for the first time. Brazil is revolutionizing agriculture. Meanwhile, Russia is developing nuclear power plants and natural gas pipelines, addressing Africa's deep energy gaps. Each BRICS nation brings a unique strength to the table, and together, they're doing something Western powers never did, treating Africa as a partner, not a pawn. Chapter 2. Industrialization. For far too long, Africa has been forced to export raw materials, gold, oil, coffee, cocoa, only to buy back finished products at sky-high prices. This cycle has kept the continent locked in poverty, dependent on foreign economies. But that's changing. BRICS is investing heavily in industrial zones and manufacturing hubs across Africa. Factories are being built in Nigeria, Kenya, and South Africa, turning raw materials into finished goods locally. This isn't just about creating jobs, it's about building economic independence. Picture this. Instead of Ghana exporting raw cocoa beans, factories in Accra now produce premium chocolate brands labeled Made in Ghana. Instead of South Africa sending raw minerals overseas, assembly plants are building electronics and automobiles. This shift has profound economic and psychological impacts. Seeing assembled in South Africa on a product is about more than national pride. It's about owning Africa's economic future. And here's where the fear sets in for Western powers. If Africa stops relying on them for manufactured goods, trillions of dollars in global trade could be rerouted through BRICS economies instead. Chapter 3. Infrastructure. For centuries, Africa's poor infrastructure has been one of its most significant barriers to economic growth. Roads riddled with potholes, disconnected railway systems, and unreliable power grids have stifled trade, slowed industrialization, and left millions without access to basic services. BRICS, however, is changing this narrative with strategic infrastructure investments aimed at connecting Africa internally and with the global economy. Take the Kenya-South Sudan Highway, a vital lifeline that now links the landlocked South Sudan to Kenyan ports. Before the project, South Sudan's farmers and traders faced massive logistical challenges to export their goods. Now, they have direct access to international markets, significantly reducing transport costs and boosting profits. In Ethiopia, the Addis Ababa-Djibouti Railway, funded by China as part of the Belt and Road Initiative, has cut travel time between the capital and the Djibouti port from 3 days to 12 hours. This electric railway, operational since 2018, isn't just transporting goods, it's revolutionizing Ethiopia's economic efficiency. In Tanzania and Zambia, the Tanzania-Zambia Railway Authority serves as a model of cross-border cooperation, built with Chinese support. The railway spans 1.860 kilometers and connects Dar es Salaam in Tanzania to Kapiri-Mposhi in Zambia. Farmers can now transport their goods to global markets swiftly, and businesses can rely on efficient supply chains. But infrastructure isn't just about trade, it transforms lives. A well-maintained road means children can reach schools safely, while a reliable power grid allows hospitals to run life-saving medical equipment. This isn't just development, it's empowerment. Chapter 4, Financial Independence. If there's one thing keeping the West in power, it's the US dollar. Most African countries have been forced to conduct international trade in dollars, a system that's expensive, volatile, and heavily favors Western banks. BRICS is changing that. By encouraging trade in local currencies, they're cutting out unnecessary middlemen, reducing fees, and shielding economies from dollar fluctuations. Imagine a South African entrepreneur trading directly with a Brazilian supplier using the rand and the real. No dollar conversions, no extra fees, just fair trade on equal footing. This isn't just a financial shift, it's a power shift. In 2023, BRICS began discussions on creating a common payment system to further simplify trade among member nations. If implemented, this system could weaken the dollar's stranglehold on global trade, and that's a nightmare scenario for Western financial institutions. Small businesses across Africa are already feeling the benefits. With fewer financial barriers, they can expand, innovate, and compete globally without being tied to the unpredictable swings of the US dollar. Chapter 5, Energy Revolution. Africa's energy crisis is one of the continent's biggest hurdles. Without reliable electricity, factories can't run, hospitals can't operate, and schools can't teach. But here's the twist. Africa isn't just fixing its energy problem, it's becoming a global leader in renewable energy. In Morocco, the Noor Solar Complex, one of the largest solar farms in the world, produces over 580 megawatts of electricity, powering 1.1 million homes and reducing carbon emissions by 760,000 tons annually. In Ethiopia, the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam is set to generate 6.450 megawatts, providing electricity to millions and selling surplus power to neighboring nations. India is playing a transformative role in Africa's renewable energy revolution. With over 600 million Africans lacking access to electricity, solar power projects funded by India are changing lives in rural communities. In remote villages, where electricity was once a luxury, solar panels are now lighting up homes, powering water pumps, and enabling small businesses to thrive. Children can study after dark, healthcare clinics can operate longer hours, and entrepreneurs can expand their businesses. India's expertise in solar energy and sustainable technologies is proving invaluable. Initiatives like the International Solar Alliance, co-founded by India, aim to mobilize over $1 trillion in solar investments globally by 2030, with Africa as a major beneficiary. These aren't just short-term projects, they represent a sustainable path forward for a continent blessed with abundant sunshine, but historically left in the dark. Chapter 6, Investing in People, not just projects. Economic transformation doesn't happen without educated, skilled people to drive it. BRICS understands this and is investing in Africa's human capital through scholarships, partnerships, and training programs. India is training thousands of African students in renewable energy technology. Brazil is offering agricultural science programs. China is establishing tech research collaborations with African universities. This isn't charity, it's a strategic investment. by empowering African youth with cutting-edge skills. BRICS is ensuring that knowledge stays on the continent and fuels sustainable growth for generations. Chapter 7. Agriculture. Brazil's success in transforming its agricultural sector has become a blueprint for African nations. With its expertise in large-scale farming, sustainable agricultural practices, and resource optimization, Brazil is partnering with African countries to tackle food insecurity. In Mozambique, Brazilian agricultural experts are teaching local farmers how to maximize crop yields while using fewer resources. Techniques like precision farming, water management, and sustainable crop rotation are empowering farmers to increase productivity while protecting the environment. This partnership goes beyond mere food production. It's about achieving food sovereignty, ensuring that African nations can feed their populations without relying on expensive imports. Chapter 8. Why Trump should be worried. So, why does this matter to Donald Trump, or any Western leader for that matter? Because Africa's rise, powered by BRICS, threatens the very foundation of Western economic dominance. If Africa stops exporting raw materials and starts producing finished goods, the West loses a cheap supplier. If Africa trades in local currencies instead of dollars, the dollar weakens. If Africa becomes an energy exporter, global energy markets shift. These aren't just theoretical scenarios. They're unfolding right now. Trump and other Western leaders know that if BRICS succeeds in its African strategy, the West will no longer hold the economic upper hand. Chapter 9. A continent of youthful potential. Africa's population stands at over 1.4 billion people, greater than Europe and North America combined. But it's not just the size of the population that matters, it's the demographic composition. With a median age of just 19 years, Africa boasts the youngest population in the world. In comparison, the median age in India is 28. While the US and China have a median age of 38, this youthful population is a powerhouse of innovation, energy, and ambition. Chapter 10. Challenges and opportunities. This transformation isn't without obstacles. Corruption, political instability, and debt mismanagement remain challenges in parts of Africa. Some infrastructure projects are vulnerable to misuse of funds, and foreign investments can still come with strings attached. But here's the difference. BRICS isn't dictating terms. They're building partnerships. And African nations are no longer passive participants. They're setting agendas, demanding fair deals, and driving negotiations. So what do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want to see more deep dives like this, hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next video.